Hello everyone, I'm super excited for this new book video where I'm going to talk about the trilogy called Twin Crowns, written by Catherine Weber and Catherine Doyle. The genre is YA romantasy, and in terms of tropes we can find hidden royalty, hidden powers, unique magical system, a fight for the crown, sister rivalry, and also love triangles, and a type of romance that's YA, so it's more giggling, blushing type of romance. So in this video, not only I'll talk about the books, but also I'll tell you my opinion and thoughts about them and if you should give the series a try or not. So let's get started. So before I dive into the video, I want to give a shout out to the beautiful covers. So I bought the first book in a physical copy and I just fell in love with it. Not only the design is gorgeous, but also I love the golden accent on it. And what I really appreciate is that it stayed consistent throughout the whole series, because we do know that some series change their design midway kinda. So yeah, big shout out to the creator of these covers because they're genuinely so pretty that sometimes I just use them as a decoration in my room. In terms of plot and world building, the story is set up in the country of Anna, where humans and witches used to live together, and at that time a witch was a queen. And so what happened is that humans became really jealous over time and unsettled and scared of the powers that they didn't understand and didn't have, so they decided to overthrow the witches and get rid of them. And essentially they did succeed, and they took that power and crown for themselves. The books are set up after this event, and so we're following the journey of two sisters that were separate at birth. They are twins, and Rose has been raised as the heir to the throne, and she has been groomed to hate witches, and so her goal once she gets to the throne is to protect her people and ultimately destroy any witches left. Whereas Ren, she grew up with witches, the ones that survived this war, and so her goal is to lead a rebellion, take her sister's place as a heir to the throne, and basically put witches to power like they used to be in the past. So for book one, I love the book. It was amazingly written, from the world building to the characters to the pacing. The pacing was quite fast because it's a dual point of view, so we get one chapter with Rose, one chapter with Ren. And I loved it because sometimes it's really nice to have this fast-paced book. Also, it's not the type of fantasy that's really heavy. This is more lighthearted, so you do get some more emotional moments, but overall, it's a pretty easy read on the mind and on the heart. In terms of the characters, I love the way the authors portrayed the twins, because sometimes I'm quite skeptical about reading books about twins because 99% of the time one twin is portrayed super princessy and the other is like tomboyish. I don't know why authors never portrayed twins as being more similar. But anyway, so here I was a bit scared, but they ended up doing a really great job. And I also think the backstory of the characters can explain better of why one was a little bit more princessy than the other, since one was raised as the heir, as a princess, and the other one was hidden with the witches and not the heir to the throne. In terms of the characters, Rose was an amazing character from start to finish. I just loved seeing her grow as a person, and her romance part is amazing. It left you giggling and blushing and always wanting for more. Ren is also a really nice character. I didn't relate to her as much as I did with Rose, but anyways, it was written in such a way that you end up rooting for both, even though they have opposite goals, and technically you should just root for one of them because it's impossible to root for both. But the author did such a great way of building the plot and writing the story that you end up loving both characters and you want them both to succeed. And so that's what kept me really going into the series, into the books as well, because I want to know if one is going to succeed, what is going to happen to the other. And so overall, I think I gave it 5 stars. I just loved it. As I said, it was consistent throughout the whole book, and everything made sense and everything came in together nicely. And so when I was starting book 2, I really had high hopes for it being my favorite series, but book 2 did disappoint. So what happened is that the pacing was so off that it was really hard to read. And I think that it's mainly due to Ren's character. Her character turned into a really ugly person that was super unrelatable and hard to root for. Each decision she was making was super selfish, and in a way that you kind of had that feeling that she didn't see Rose as her family, whereas Rose was the complete opposite. She would do anything for Ren because she is her sister. And so, as I told myself, it was hard to read Ren's point of view because I just thought that if my sister were like that, I would be super upset. And so, because of her character, I feel like it threw off the pacing because her point of views were just not interesting, and usually they would make me really angry. And I wasn't the only one to think that. I think a lot of people did write on Goodreads and other apps that they were feeling that the pacing was off because of Ren. And so, in terms of romance, Rose's arc stays as amazing as it was in book 1. Again, keeps you wanting for more. And Ren gets a love triangle. I think it did kind of save the book in some way, but at the same time, Ren was so horrible that the two options she had, I really wanted them to give up Ren and move on with their life because I was like, Ren just doesn't deserve you, you deserve something more. So I ended up giving the book initially 4 stars, but after a couple of weeks, I realized that no, compared to my other 4 stars, this is definitely not. So I gave it 3.5, mainly because of Ren's character and because the pacing was so off. And so when I finished book 2, I became a bit scared of reading book 3 because I was so sure that it would be one of my favorite series because book 1 was such a strong start. And so I was a bit skeptical about starting book 3, but thankfully I did, and book 3 was as good as book 1. I also gave it 5 stars. I loved Ren's redemption arc. I love that she realized that her actions and words do have consequences. Rose stayed a solid character. I think she is the best character out of the series. From book 1 to book 3, she stayed consistent and grew as a person. So I love the way they wrote her character. And I was really glad that they made Ren better because I think that again it did affect the pacing. The pacing became way better because I became more invested in her point of views. And then in terms of the love triangle, I love the way it unfolded. I love the explanation behind it and who she ended up picking. I know that a lot of people were upset, but anyways, I think that even if you were rooting for the other person, the explanation of why she didn't pick them made a lot of sense. So you might be a little bit disappointed by the result, but not for long because, as I said, they really provided a good explanation. Another thing that was really solid throughout the book were the extra characters. I think they brought a lot to the story and they made the story more interesting, which is why I think they received so much love that the authors decided to write 2 more books about them. One about Marino, who is a sailor, and then another one about King Alaric. So I think for my fans of King Alaric, you are going to be really happy to hear that. Now about my overall thoughts, opinions, and if I would recommend this series or not. I would definitely recommend it. This series is really solid, even though book 2 wasn't as good as book 1 and book 3. Overall, it was still really nice. I think it's mainly due to the fact that you could find all the romance part that we love to see in Romantasy, especially YA. Also, the fantasy part did deliver because It had a pretty cool magic system. However, would I say that this series is the most innovative one and unique one? I wouldn't say so. I think you can find other similar books, but still, it's a really nice series because it was so fast-paced, lightweight. It's not one of these series that leaves you broken. So I would recommend it if you want an easy and fast read, but still set up in this fantasy romantasy universe. So this concludes the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't hesitate to talk about the book in the comments and let me know if you were more Team Rose or Team Ren and who you were rooting for in the love triangle. I'm really curious to hear. So let's talk in the comments and see you guys in a new video soon. Bye!